Good day, everybody. Hi, Ebi. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thanks.
Good, great. Welcome, everybody, to Peace and Wealth. We're here every weekend, every Saturday, Sunday. Sunday for me, Saturday for Ebi. And alternate weeks, we have Dr. Marleen Greenleaf, who always brings a great deal of wisdom to leadership, especially leadership. So, yeah, welcome. I hope you've had a peaceful week. From my point of view in Japan, yes, wow, it's been peaceful after a horrible earthquake which happened last Monday. A level 7 earthquake which devastated a big area further west than where I am. So, but my internet got knocked out, didn't it, Ebi? So we couldn't do
Almost 2 days,
anything.
isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
But
Just
we're
how much
doing,
we depend on it. But they did
yeah,
really great. I was impressed. They
there
had
you
quite,
said.
yeah, I was impressed compared to considering the strength of the earthquake and the damage that happened. Because I've lived in an earthquake zone, and it's horrifying. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well, we're still uncovering dead people, I'm afraid, there.
uh,
I think
mm,
33 people have been confirmed dead so far, but I think there are more people missing. So anyway, but it could have been so much worse
I
when
mean,
I see.
it's sad, but 33 with what I mean, I saw the pictures and
Mm,
seven. That's really was seven. Was it 7.2 or something like that?
yes, just over
Mm.
7, which is really pushing it.
Yeah.
That's really high for Japan. And
Mm.
but that's what's happening, and it's the climate change, and the earth is not peaceful. The earth is not peaceful at the moment because we are damaging it with our human desires and insatiable appetites for fuel and food and everything. So the more.
Also, it's
Mm,
the conscious. Also, okay, yeah, it's the physical like that, but it's also the internal going on with us. We're not peaceful, and
yeah,
so that's also spilling out.
yes, I totally
Because
agree.
where we're blaming the external, like what we're doing in terms of that, which is also bad, but in
Mm,
terms of our internal peace, that's also having an effect because it has an effect on us to each other, doesn't it? And then ultimately,
yes, yes, I think that's so important. In the Buddhist teachings, we say that internal peace
hmm
is a reflection of the outer world. So,
it
yes,
is.
it's very difficult for us to be peaceful when the outer world is in such chaos as it seems to be at the moment. I think things
Yeah,
are
but why is
settling
the outer
down.
world in chaos too? It's the
Well,
catch
yes,
22. It's a chicken and egg. It's why is the outer world in chaos? Because we are in chaos too.
yes, 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 that's right. And our behavior and our attitude to each other is not good and harmonized, and
Mm.
that it creates energy. So it's all reflected, it's all part of us. So I think for each of us, and I don't know about you, Ebi, but for me,
Mm.
I try to live as peacefully as I can. In other words, I don't pollute places, I don't. And pollution is an interesting point. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but um, you may remember some time back I did a couple of sessions on the hummingbird. Do you remember
Yes.
the hummingbird? The hummingbird is this incredible bird that tiny little thing that does not disturb anything when it's
Mm.
feeding. So if you watch it hovering, it hovers madly. Its wings are flying so quickly we can't see them, and it pokes its beak into the flower and takes its little bit of nectar and then goes away quietly. So it's a very silent bird, which doesn't disturb the plant at all. And now, especially in Ecuador, the hummingbird has evolved. This is really interesting, I think. It's evolved so that because the tropical plants in Ecuador, excuse me, in South America, have evolved too. So they're very long plants, long flowers, kind of pendulum flowers, you know. So the hummingbird in Ecuador has evolved so that its beak is huge, so that it can reach nectar. So the hummingbird is adapting to nature, and I think that's really a great image for us to have. We can adapt to anything. Human beings can adapt to anything, like the hummingbird.
I like what you've just said, because it reminds me of when I was looking at healing in terms of health. And we hear so much about how plants are depleted because the soil is depleted. But there's this, he's called the medical medium, and he's been very spiritual since he was like age 4. And he says that, like you said, and I believe that everything's adapting. See, we don't know what we don't know. So we can't test in terms of nutrients that come out of the plants. We don't really know. And to discourage people and say it's being depleted, because the earth is so powerful that it's adapting. So it's also developing other nutrients that are probably haven't been discovered that work for us, because the things that the plants and animals, then they work, the earth works for our benefit. So as we're taking away from something else, it's developing in other ways, because in terms of the way nature works with the sun and everything, it's also developing other things. But we can't test for those things because we don't know what we don't know. So if for instance it's developing a nutrient that we don't know about yet, you know, we can't test to see whether it has that. Because I also, like when you're growing your own plants and you talk to it and you touch it, it develops for what you need. And I think that's what's happening. So I think we shouldn't be disheartened, because we get disheartened, oh, we're not getting the right nutrients, and we top ourselves with all these supplements, which are probably not that good for us, especially in high doses. Natural is always better. And so we shouldn't lose hope. We should always have hope that the earth serves us.
Yes.
And as much as we are not respecting, which is wrong, the earth is powerful and will survive long after we've gone.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, and you know, if we can live peacefully like the hummingbird, you know, and adapt to what's going on. In other words, I think adaptation is that we step back and we witness things. You know, we've talked about this before, haven't we? If we're in the hot part of interactions, you know, if we're really out there kind of fighting, as it were, then we're going to cause much more trouble than if we step back. If we step back, then we can still be involved. I'm not suggesting we become totally isolated, but we can step back, and that puts everything into a different perspective once you step away, doesn't it?
And once you step away too, apart from that, it stops the anxiety, so the overworking of our system and the flight and phrase. It gets us into the peace, you know, and that peace, like you always say, it's like dropping a pebble and it ripples out. And that peace, if you have peace, you're creating peace. Well, we're always fighting or using words like fighting, to negative words, then that inflames the negative
Yeah.
energy. So stepping back is not that part of taking action is stepping back, and you
Yeah.
can still act because when you step back, you come from a place of peace. So when you're
Mm,
advocating for things, you're advocating from your heart and from
mm,
kindness, are supposed to advocating from anger and hate and
yes.
opposition and always defending and you know
Mm. Yes, it's all ego. It's all
yes.
ego, really. And so stepping back also cools down the ego. And so then we can come into a different kind of heart energy. But yes, as we always say, Abby, it all starts with you. So you are responsible for your peace.
Be
Nobody
the
else.
change you want to see.
Yes,
That is one of
absolutely.
the best quotes ever. And I think it is a Buddhist quote. Actually. All the
Yes,
great
it is.
quotes seem to come from
It
Buddhism.
is. It's the Dalai Lama. Yeah, it's the Dalai Lama. Yeah. Be the peace that you want to see. So if you take that responsibility, and I'm afraid we're living in an era where we outsource everything, and we've
Mm,
talked about this too. We outsource our health, we outsource our education, we outsource everything, even our emotions, and so if we come back to self every day, if we start from that position, then we are in a position ourselves to make the choice to live peacefully.
mm.
And this is all about agency, which we've been talking about.
Agency, yeah. It's
As
powerful.
adults, we can be agents or we can choose not to be agents. But if
Mm,
we take agency, then we also take responsibility
mm,
for everything, not just our inner peace, but also self-reliance. For me,
mm.
that is my byword.
Self-reliance.
I
Mm,
don't rely on anybody else. I have
mm,
lots of gorgeous relationships and loving relationships and so on, but I don't rely on anybody. So
mm.
I'm never
And nobody
disappointed.
nobody has an obligation to even do so relying on people, they don't have an obligation to do anything for you anyway. And I think sometimes we expect that and we get disappointed because the expectation is that, oh, they haven't done this, but they're not
Yes.
obligated to. you
No,
know
that's
you're
right.
you're responsible for your own life. So if you get anything from somebody else, and which is what I'm learning and what I've learned, is that when I get something, it's being grateful that that person has given that, because they
Yeah.
don't really have to.
No,
um
no,
and if
no.
they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart because they want to. And so it's gratitude, to have people like that around that would do
Mm,
that. But like you said, being self-reliant is so important. So reliant on our emotions. Don't expect anybody to make us happy.
mm,
Your
mm.
emotions are your responsibility. Being happy is a choice, and it's your responsibility.
It
Because I've
is.
seen people who are in dire situations, but they still manage to be happy.
Yes, I mean, we've got fantastic examples here in Japan after this earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
The television interviews were amazing. They made me cry, really, because
Mm,
these people are standing in front of their houses, which have been completely demolished by the earthquake. So the
mm,
roof, we've got these big, shiny tiles in Japan, very elegant roofs. The roof is on the ground. The walls have completely collapsed. And these people are standing in front of their houses, which have been
mm,
demolished by the earthquake, and
mm.
saying things like, what can we do? We have to start again. And
Yeah,
smiling,
yeah.
And, we are all thinking, my God, if that happened to us, would we
Yeah,
be
no,
smiling?
that is so hard. Yeah,
Would we
yeah,
be
but
genuine?
again, looking at it, I see that's really a great way to look at things. Because again, what choice do you have? You can either start again, or you can just fall down and get depressed and then just give up.
Yeah,
That's the
that's right.
choice, isn't it? I think it's
Yes.
just simplifying your life. When I always simplify it into break it down to the lowest common denominator. So two things: yes or no. You know, simplify it. You know,
Yes, yes,
what
yes.
my house is falling out. What do I do? Do I build or do I just give up? And what's the choice?
Absolutely.
Build.
Yeah,
Then if I'm going to build, then I need to think about it positively. If I decide I'm going to get depressed, then okay. So, you know.
that's right. So, when really terrible things happen to us, if we are truly embodied and
Mm,
therefore we're reliant on ourselves and we have
mhm,
inner peace, and, there's nothing better than going to sleep at night knowing that you have taken charge of everything and that the next morning, whatever appears in life, you are responsible for.
mm,
I love that feeling. And
mm,
I think when we are tempted to depend on others, there's a very big difference between dependence on others and delegation. And this is
mm,
important for business, isn't it? So you can delegate to your assistants,
mhm,
VA or whatever it is, um, but even though I delegate very freely to mine, I'm not depending on.
independent, yeah, yeah,
At
yeah.
the end of the day, it's my business and it's my responsibility. So
Mhm,
if things go wrong at her end, then I just smile and say, never mind, it's okay. We can do this. So there's always an alternative to things. But if you start depending, you start blaming,
yeah.
don't you?
Somebody, I was listening to somebody 2 days ago. I can't remember his name, but he was saying the thing that's happening to us now is that we expect not to have suffering. You know, so we expect
Mhm.
everything to, but
Yeah.
that's that's not part of life. There will be
No.
that, and because we have those challenges, we can recognize and be grateful for the good stuff. Because if you just have everything plain sailing,
Mm.
then you're going to be miserable all the time because you don't understand what it is not to have. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's that
so
thing of
yeah,
contrast.
life throws those curveballs at us, which sometimes, like with the earthquake, they've lost their homes. That's a huge challenge because it's like, where are
Mm.
we going to start? How are we going to start? But hopefully they have a community, because when you're in community, you help
Yeah.
each other, you support each other emotionally, which is
Yeah.
really great. And I think in the
Mm.
West, that's something we need to come back to, the community, because we're
Yeah.
all in my nuclear family, but we are supposed to be one big family. Okay, you're not going to resonate with everybody, but you will resonate with some people, and you can come together and support each other emotionally, but
Mm.
still be independent. You know,
Mm.
even though you have that support, but you're still self-reliant. You're not relying on somebody else. But
Yes.
like you said, you can't delegate.
Mm. Yes,
Yeah.
we cannot feel for other people. We can only feel our own feelings. That doesn't that make sense? That we are discrete beings. In other words, all our emotions and our states are internal, and our systems that keep us living, are internal. So how can somebody else possibly take care of those for you? Or how can you live in somebody else's shadow? So talking about community is really interesting, Ebi, because here in Japan, on every street corner, there is some kind of community.
Yeah, it's part of
I
the
live in
culture.
a really little town. It's a little
Mm,
town way outside Tokyo. It's a very warm little town. And um, I think there are at least 200 communities here. So you can
mm,
join classes, you can go walking, the people are so good at harmonizing through these communities. And in fact, I run an embodied English group here. which is growing massively. We've had 20 people. I think we're going to have more this month. And they come because they are so happy to belong. Belonging is a big thing here in Japan. You, if you are isolated, then you're unhappy. But if you belong to a community, then you're very happy to go out and meet these people all the time. So Japanese have really got it right. There's a great balance between community, harmony, and self-responsibility. So people take responsibility for their own health. I'm just thinking of this very funny program we have here at New Year. At New Year, there's which is a big time in Japan. Christmas is not really celebrated, but New Year is very, very big. And always on New Year's Eve, they have this TV program, and it's about responsibility. And so it shows you, it's really so sweet and funny, these children who are trained by their parents to go shopping at the age of 3. So you see these tiny little children with their huge shopping bag, which is just as big as they are, walking off to the shop, and the cameras are following them. So they're safe, they're not getting into any trouble. But these children, the way they take the responsibility to go out and buy the shopping for their parents at the age of 3.
But that's when to teach, isn't it? And I think we come to, that's when to teach the 2, the 3, the 4 year, 5, before the age of 7. And I think here we've got to a stage where we mollycoddle.
Yeah.
It's like we see 3-year-olds, because like in Africa, 3-year-olds go and get water for the family. They join. So you'll have the older children and even maybe the parents going to get water. But the 3-year-old will also have their own little container that they will have on their heads with the water for the family. So they have their own, the 3-year-old has their own jobs that they do, their own responsibility. They can go out, they can run errands. As soon as they can walk and talk, they can run errands.
Yeah.
and so you grow up, so you have that sense of responsibility from a very young age. It's not, it's just, I think in the West, we think you can just instill it. So you become 12 and 13, you think you can just instill it. No, it doesn't happen magically. It's something that's part of you, part of the culture. And I think that's something that we've lost. And I don't know how we can bring it back.
Well, the problem,
I don't know how we can bring it back.
Yeah, I think the problem in developed nations is that it is quite dangerous to send a really young child out.
But it's dangerous because we don't care for each other.
Well,
because
that's right.
Why would you see somebody being attacked or molested and everybody's with their cameras taking, rather than helping? So they don't interfere, they don't help, because they'll get you're scared that you're going to be stabbed, but we've allowed it to happen that is, and that's it. If everybody teams up, if there's one person with a knife or one person with a gun or whatever, and you've got 10 people, you can face the one person. But everybody steps back. And I really noticed this, especially during COVID. I really noticed this, like when people were being harassed, attacked, or whatever, and people wouldn't interfere. It's kind of, it's not my business. Or they might think that it's a domestic, but even if it's domestic, if it's violence, even if it's your partner has no right to be aggressive towards you. And if they did it in public, if you did it in public, I used to say, I had a neighbor, I said, well, if I can hear her scream, I said, you have made it my business. Just because it's happening behind closed doors, I'm sorry, if you have allowed it to get to that stage, then it becomes my business. So don't tell me it's not my business, my new business. I think if people stepped or people don't, because it's not part of the culture,
Yes,
Children can't go out, like you said, because it's not
it's every
safe.
man for himself, isn't it? And
Yeah,
yet,
the wife is not safe because we're not looking out for each other.
that's right. Yes, and we live in such packed groups, overpopulated groups. Japan is a little bit different because even though the people do live in very kind of tight physical accommodation quite often because they're tiny.
Yeah,
So,
they've kept their
you know,
culture though.
yeah, that's the culture.
Yeah.
But they are always available for other people. There's a huge network of helping
Mm.
going on. Volunteering
I mean,
here.
they've kept all that. They've kept all that community spirit, which we have somehow lost. And maybe
Yes,
because they are one nation, i.e., they are one people, and we're
that's
kind of like a mix.
yes, that's very true. The monoculture, the mono language. They don't really want foreigners here, except
Mm,
those who can bring something special, and that's how I'm here because of
that
my
makes sense because you could
academic.
bring it. That makes
No,
sense.
no, no, no.
Yeah,
Sorry, that came out
that's
all
life,
wrong.
isn't it? You get people that can help. You don't get people.
No,
That
that
makes
came out
sense.
all
I
wrong. I
think I
didn't
think
mean
we
to
got
say it
it.
that way.
I think we got it all wrong. No. I mean, it is fact. That's life, isn't it? So even as individuals, part of boundaries is if it doesn't serve you, then you need to, because part of having self-worth is looking for stuff that serves you, because it always starts with self. You can't
Mm.
serve others if you're not serving yourself.
That's right.
It's
That's so
not going
true.
to work. You will grow apart. You get disconnected. So serving others starts with self. If you want to do the best job ever, it's about yourself. I'm talking from lived experience in that the more I focus on me, the more I'm in tune with me, and then the more I'm in tune with others, and not just people. And that's others of, it doesn't matter whether they don't like me or they like me. It has nothing to do with how I feel about them. So if
Mm,
somebody who
mm,
doesn't like me at all, but to me it doesn't matter because I value me.
mm.
It doesn't matter if somebody else hates me. For me, I can't because I value me. I don't know. It's very difficult to explain how we work as human beings. And that's why I say it always starts with you. If you really want to serve and you want to love and you need to do it self first, and not in the arrogant way of buying clothes for yourself or going shopping It's not about spending money. It's
No.
about the embodiment,
Mm,
about understanding who you truly are, what your unlimited mind, what the heart is. It's all
mm.
about that. It's not about the inner peace. It's all about the inner peace, isn't it? It's not about having nice clothes or having a big house or having a big car. It's not about that.
No. Yeah, I mean, the more we realize that we have the only things we truly need and truly have, if you like, if you want to put it that way, are our bodies and our breath.
Mm.
And the
Hmm.
breath, as we are always saying, and Marleen is particularly saying in her book, Just Breathe, is a great little book.
Breath, yeah. Yeah, you
Um,
know what? The breath, the just breathe, that's such an amazing title because when I think about it, just breathe, it just brings clarity.
mm, yeah, yeah. That's
The
that's
breath
the
is the soul, the breath is the life.
without breath, we're
Yeah,
hopeless. We're dead, and the breath really is such a precious. Well, it's to me, it's the most precious
it
asset
is.
we have. It's free, it's unconditional. We can breathe for 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years of life, 20 to 24,000 times every day, every 24 hours.
Is that what it is? 24? Yeah, wow.
Yeah, 20 to 24,000 times
Wow.
every 24 hours. Imagine that. So
Wow.
each breath is provided by the earth. So we go full circle to how we started here. The earth. Without the earth, we don't exist.
Mm.
And the earth is an abundance
It is
of
abundance. Yeah.
everything we need to thrive. And the principal thing is oxygen. And, I can't believe people who just don't regard uh, their polluting behavior. For example, smokers, or people who don't who drive cars without emission, controlling the emissions and so on. Here in Japan, we've got these hybrid cars. You're not allowed to have petrol cars these days. It's against the law. So gradually, our emissions are really, really dropping in Japan now. So, yeah, if we go back to those basics, that if we didn't have the earth to ground us in its gravitational force and hold us on its surface, and we didn't have oxygen provided by the planet, we wouldn't exist. I mean, it's as simple as that. And yet people don't appreciate the simplest things. And I'm still finding people, when I tell them this, their jaw drops and they say, really? And they kind of, because they're so locked up in their limited mind and in the power, they think it's power of knowledge. Knowledge has
Yeah,
no
I think
whatsoever.
why knowledge is good, I don't know. I think we've taken it to the extreme and we're forgetting the natural power
Yeah,
of self and of being and just
yeah.
just
If
being.
we spend more time in the unlimited mind, out of this mind, which
Mm,
is brilliant, but hugely narrow, analytical, calculating, critical. And if we live that way, we become analytical,
mm,
critical. And, when we are interacting with others, the first thing we do unconsciously is say, oh, no, I don't like this person. Or this
mm.
person's hair is very strange, or this person is wearing really odd clothes. We start to be
And
critical.
yeah, but that is something wrong with you. If you
Yes,
go
I mean,
within, it's something wrong with once you start, because once you start working on you, you stop noticing those things. Because I found 100% of the time we project on others.
yes, we
That's why
do.
I don't take it personally when somebody maybe judges me or criticizes me. I don't take it personally because I
No.
know it's a them problem.
So
Uh-huh.
this is brilliant, because you can immediately say,
Yeah, I
because
just know.
because you're embodied, you can say,
Yeah.
this person doesn't know what they're saying. They're
Mm,
they're speaking from the limited
yeah.
mind. And of course, on embodiment Q&A yesterday, we talked about affirmations
Mm,
and words, and
mhm,
the fact that every word we say affects everything in the universe. It is the
mhm.
pebble we drop in the
Yeah.
huge ocean. Every word, every single word. And
Yes.
so
We
we
have to be
need to
careful. Mm,
choose our words and choose where
mm,
those words are coming from. So if your
mhm,
words are coming from here, then you are bound to be critical,
mm,
calculating, all of those things, which are brilliant in their
mm.
place.
From the place, yeah.
But in our human interactions, we have to come down into the heart, and
Mm,
we have to go beyond those superficial
mm,
judgments. Oh, no, this person is not like me because they don't wear the same clothes as I do. Or this person is not like me because they're black, or because
yeah,
they're
because they're conscious. So when
Japanese.
if we take the clothes for instance, they themselves are conscious and are looking for external validation from the
Mm,
way they dress. So they
mm,
end up spending, going to debt because they want to wear expensive things, maybe because they're looking for validation. And so when they see
yeah,
somebody else, they are critical or they're judging because what business is it of yours of what other people wear? But because they're feeling so conscious about themselves and looking for the validation from outside about their looks, that's why. And that's why I said once you work on yourself, you find out that you lose that. You lose that because there's I don't know if you've heard of positive intelligence, which is a course by somebody called Shazad. I can't remember his surname. And he talks about this, and he talks about the judge, that we all have the judge in us. And sometimes you might feel critical, but if you come back to self, it dispels, because the natural man might get that, but when you so embodied, actually I don't even feel. He says everybody has it, but I don't feel it. So I don't know. I don't want to argue with him because he's got a PhD. So I don't want to argue. I don't feel it. I'm not going to argue. He's going to say, "Oh, you feel it, but you don't know." No, I don't. Because when you
doesn't mean a thing, Ebi. A PhD
exactly
does not mean a thing.
because when you are embodied, you don't feel that. I don't know. I'm sure you don't feel judgmental of other people because you've been doing your work since you were age 10, and since then you've been really doing a lot of work. And I find that when you get to a certain stage, you just don't, because it doesn't even cross your mind to judge, And as soon as I start, because I'm not there yet, I just immediately go with him, and it just dispels, because I kind of think, what's going on inside me? Why am I so concerned about somebody else? Something's happening inside me. That's why. And then it dispels, and then I kind of,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, the natural human being is a heart being. We are naturally good. We are naturally. We're born.
I think so.
We're born good. I think that's a fact. For me, that's a fact. We are all born good, but then socialization sets in, and we start to develop very negative habits, and they are compounded because they go on and on for years, and maybe other people have similar habits, and so and
people protect themselves in different ways, isn't it? When they're the fight or flight, when they the nervous is it parasympathetic nervous system, when the nervous system gets negative things, people might react in a way that's not which is negative, but then again, that's still a choice. If you're reacting by being aggressive or hitting people or killing people or hurting other people, it's still a choice you're choosing, because people have the same pain. Why do some people act in a kind way, and some people develop bad habits where they become mean and horrible people?
Yes.
Why do some people become horrible? Because of their experience.
Yes, I think this week then, for our lovely audience, LinkedIn and YouTube members, I think it's a really good idea to really think about state control.
About
state control. So this is a fundamental psychology idea that because we are agents as adults, we can be agents, we have the choice to be agents, then we also have the choice to control our state. And when earlier we were talking about stepping back, that's a mechanism for state control. What you're doing is you're stepping back, and in that action, your blood pressure drops. We talk about the breath. If you inhale and exhale for longer, then that pause at the end of the exhale is the moment when you are the most present. That is presence. It only lasts a few seconds. But if you get a sense of that, then you also get an opportunity to control your state and to come away from all of this in the limited mind into the heart. And then the whole thing radiates. If you step back, people will be amazed. You're not rising to the challenge they are giving you to become angry or irritated or critical or whatever it is. You're stepping away. And so they pause. Wow, this person doesn't want to fight with me. Wow. And there's a moment they pause. and they get insights from that, and maybe they step back. So this, this is state control. And so if you find yourself becoming angry or becoming irritated or irritable, I think many people on the internet now, they're scrolling for too long, they're really on screens for too long, and they become irritable and they don't want to stop, and so their partners or their family get the brunt of that. And so if you feel those accelerations of negative emotions like anger or regret or envy, all of these are very, very strong emotions, then that's your signal to step back or move away,
Yes.
to stop,
Yes.
to put
It's
your back
always
down.
signals, yeah. And that's the
get
thing. Our body gives us signals. So yeah, exactly. And that's what I do. If I'm getting any of these negative emotions, I'm just thinking, oh, that's a signal. What's going on? Check, 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 check. Time to check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And come back and have that pause.
Yeah.
And then instead of reacting, and we've been talking about this a lot recently, if you pause, you don't react, you respond. So pausing gives you the opportunity to respond, which is far more elegant, far more truthful than reacting. We can react in a very intellectual way to things, but if we pause, we come back and we respond from a very embodied position, and that will stop the interaction that is really starting to spiral downwards, perhaps, So
Great.
yeah,
That's great.
just be aware of that, and yes, know that you've got loads of resources. Breath is the best ever,
Right.
and then we also have, the lengthening of the spine. So
Yes.
if you step back, then you've got a moment to consider your posture. Now you might be all, crunched up like this because you're in fighting mode with this person habitually. So if you step back, that also allows you to open your chest, lengthen your spine, let the crown of your head go up into the sky, drop your chin a little bit, and there you're in a completely different position physically. And that generates completely different emotions or states, if you want to call them that. So
it creates a lot of peace within, I think.
that's the pause is what's going to create your peace. I mean, eventually, if you do it often enough, if you've got a spiritual practice or whatever, I know a lot of our audience are strong Christians. Marleen's network are lots of Christians, and I think it's wonderful if you can use that spiritual pathway to calm your state. So you have equilibrium, you are really balanced, and then every interaction becomes joyful. You can be pleasant and personable with everybody, even if they're shouting at you.
Exactly. Yes.
It's
It's
wonderful state to be in. So hopefully that will help you this week. Please think about the earthquake victims too. I think, when we consider how people especially in natural disasters, which are way outside their control, respond, then, we who are not being devastated by any natural disaster, perhaps, can feel an incredible respect and reverence, really, for people who recover so well. Recovery is so important. Yeah. And of course, that's what we do with Lodestone, not to miss mentioning Lodestone. And we're trying to take our wellness packages, which are really unique packages, because they deal with one-to-one. They're one-to-one packages. we're trying to take those packages now into corporations, into companies. We are particularly dealing with healthcare practitioners who are hugely stressed, waiting for the next COVID to come, because it will come. So there's a lot of stress among healthcare
That is part
practitioners.
of life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but that is, we've always had something, you know. You
Yeah,
had
yeah.
the
These
you had the
things
bird
will come.
flu, you've had the mad
Yeah,
cow disease, you've had the
those.
Spanish flu, you've had
Yes, those are
this
the
go.
challenges.
It just makes me laugh. This is life. Sorry.
It's all right.
Why we in fear of something that might never happen? I mean, there was monkeypox that never took off ground. You know, there was all that fear before monkeypox. Oh, there's going to be monkeypox. It came, that never took off. You know, yeah.
Of
It's just,
course, we
it just
can't
makes me laugh.
change.
Yeah,
We can't
exactly. It is
change.
what it is.
We can't change what's happening outside, but we can change how we respond to it.
Respond, yeah. How
That,
we
that's
respond.
that's the
How we
key, isn't
respond.
it?
You know, yeah, that is the key. Take deep breaths, breath,
The breath.
pause, relax, observe.
And just feel how amazingly blessed we are.
Yeah.
We are so blessed. If you're watching this broadcast now, you are so blessed.
Hmm.
You have the internet, you have somewhere warm to be, somewhere cool to be,
Mm.
maybe. You have food, you
Mm.
have, but you have breath.
Mm-hmm.
All you have breath, which is the main sustenance for life. That's how we sustain life, and we have to be grateful for it. The,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that is the first thing to be grateful for. Wow, I could take my next breath. I'm getting older
Mm-hmm.
now. Lots of older people suffer from breathing disorders. But if you're grateful for your breath, it will serve
Mm.
you until
Yes.
your
Yeah.
very last one.
Mm.
So
Mm.
please, yes, feel that inner peace and take that pause always to respond rather than react. And then that circle of harmonious interactions will radiate outwards from our communities, from our communities. That's what's happened in Japan. That's why we are so harmonized here, because it's everybody's doing it, so it's circulating.
Mm.
And the West has to learn to do that again.
Mm.
We used to, but
Mm.
because of the domination of the intellect, we've lost touch with it. And I'm seeing
Mm.
we've got a comment here, Ebi. Let's see who it is. Oh, Dean Seddon. He's saying, "Hey, Ebi." So it's your friend.
Hello, Dean. You're welcome. You're awake. He's in the UK too. Hello.
Wow, gosh. Thanks for joining us, Dean. Great to have you. And please, if
He's
you
a
have
great
any.
marketing person. He's done
Oh,
so well.
really?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
He's
Well, do
LinkedIn expert.
leave us a comment, and do join us again next week. Sadly, then we have to bring this to an end. Time is moving on, and our days are continuing. My day is opening up. Ebi's is closing. She's going to bed now, and wherever you are, I'm sure you're in a different place. So it's wonderful that we can all come together and breathe and really realize our inner peace and our incredible blessings to be human beings. It's remarkable. And that, if that stays with you after you leave this broadcast, that's fabulous. Blessings. We have so many blessings in our lives. So we'll see you again next week. And Marleen will be back next week. And in the meantime, have a blessed life. And we'll be in touch again soon. Ebi, any final words?
No, you've said it
No,
all.
good.
Peace
Yeah,
within. Oh.
peace within. I can see you're just about to fall asleep, so we'll let you fall asleep. Okay, see you soon, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye for now. Bye. Okay, finish, lovey. Right.